and I will mention it no more, because it will jinx it.
No.
And now we're going to skip through this replay to where we were previously and pretend nothing happened, alright?
Fuck that. Everybody say a very vocal prayer. I want you screaming, praying about my computer.
Don't forget your overlay, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
Alright.
1, 2, 3,
Wow.
4. So I actually, we already saw this part, so I actually not even going to try to do both observe and replay at the same time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're gonna do builds. Pusan's going to forge FE, but he's only gonna build one cannon, and it's gonna completely screw him over.
And Sziky is going to be a boss and is going to run by with 2 lings, at which point he will take down the gas of Pusan, and Pusan will be horribly delayed and putting Sziky well in the lead. And that's the point where we're going to skip through to in just a second once the overlay and whatnot is done for anti-spoiler goodness. So yeah, for anyone who's not quite sure what they're watching, this is of course the show match organised between 2 epic players. We're deeply sorry that there was such a disaster, but hey, sometimes that stuff just happens and there's literally nothing you can do about it. But Hacklebeast is back. We are casting once again. So you're going to get fast forwarded through the epicness that is this early game. Sziky, of course, 1-0 up after a shock first game in which which Pusan didn't seem to be taking our foreigner Zerg seriously and paid the price in blood. And that's the point at where you see us right now.
I'm gonna go until the lings die. I think that's gonna be close enough, and that's the best iconic thing I can look for. All right.
Okay, I think we're good now.
Yeah. And we're back! Yay! Oh wait, I can go a little bit farther because I remember Pusan threw down another cannon. Okay, I can't go that much farther. He just threw it down. All right. All right, we're good.
Wow.
We're good.
Oh, are you online on Team Liquid, by the way?
I wanted to be, and I clicked stream, but I didn't actually. No, I did. It just didn't take it because Team Liquid decides to hate me sometimes. I redid it. I should be on Team Liquid now.
Awesome. Awesome to the max. Alright, so time to commentate on this game, which I've been so looking forward to for as long as I can remember right now. So we have a 2 Stargate build coming in from Pusan, and this is going to be really, really interesting. Because 2 Stargate builds can often be caught a little bit short. They have to do damage. The Corsairs must do damage. Of course, the flip side of that is that the Corsairs probably will do damage. When you have that many Corsairs that soon, they're gonna do some good stuff. Although having said that soon, they are already severely delayed, and that probably goes a fair way to explaining this. Pusan knows that he's going to need to get a decent force up in the air as soon as possible, so he's going to be producing Corsairs twice as fast right here off the 2 gas economy as well, which is finally kicking in now.
Yeah, I definitely think that considering that taking the gas into consideration is a big factor here. Because he was so late on his first gas, and then he's going to be investing so much gas in +1 and 2 Stargates and constant Corsair production that he's not going to be able to get any kind of robo, any kind of observer tech for any kind of robo, any kind of Templar tech for a very long time. And it's an interesting decision to double down so heavily on the Corsairs. Especially if Sziky doesn't go Mutalisks, which he tends not to do versus Protoss. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. We already have 2 Corsairs out right now, and I really don't see Sziky going Mutalisks at all right here. I mean, he hasn't saved up any lava. He seems to be producing Scourge at a slow rate. And yeah, it looks like he's going to be going on to the standard stuff. Just looking around for any further tech now, we do already have a Hydralisk Den in his natural, so he's going to be going straight for a big mid-game army. So Pusan's going to be having to push out in a minute with these Corsairs, and he's got to do damage, otherwise this is an expensive mistake.
And as I said that Pusan's tech would be delayed, he's already thrown down a robo in the natural. So we're really going to see some honest-to-goodness Korean Sair Reaver?
Yeah.
Wow.
I really want this to be good from Pusan. I mean, Sair Reaver can be a joy to see when it's done well. I mean, a real joy. With the robotic support going down already at the back of Pusan's base, and no shuttle currently on the way in, we can assume he's going to go Reaver first, just to make sure he's as safe as possible against any kind of Hydra Burst or any kind of play like that. So having to play a little bit safe here, whereas he may not have wanted to do that. A lot of Scourge out as well, so I guess he's going to be looking for any kind of surround he can get. And yeah, we're going to have the shuttle speed coming in the second too. I would imagine once he's got the gas, and there you go, bam, in comes the gas and down goes shuttle speed. So Pusan's going to really have to do well with this. And will Sziky be able to do anything about it? I think he's in a good spot.
I'm trying to figure out exactly how Pusan's affording this, and I guess he's going to be affording it just by virtue of he only has one gateway, and he's making absolutely no Dragoons to back up the Serra Reaver, which makes what's already a very risky build, in the sense that one micro mistake means losing the game. It just exacerbates that. If you make one micro mistake, you really, really lose the game, because you have nothing to defend you from Hydralisks other than those couple of Reavers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think he'll continue to pump Reavers. I think he'll make sure he has 3 Reavers out at any one time. So he's got 2 to harass with and 1 to defend with, because otherwise you can get caught so short, and he's already made an extra cannon, I think, because he knows that that's going to be the risk. Many's the time I've seen players get screwed over by that when the Reavers are out and about. We have another Corsair fleet coming into the natural of sziky and immediately taking out all those Scourge. And we can see just how effective Corsairs are at doing this. They dart in, they're able to do huge amounts of damage in very small amounts of time, because whilst they are weak, each one of them together, they are incredibly strong. But now as sziky beginning his Hydralisk possession is able to get enough defense out, and so these Corsairs are probably going to be negated quite well here. Might be flying over the Hydralisk. Nice turnaround there for pusan. I think he's going to have to just keep scouting around with these, but mainly using them in conjunction with his Reavers. The days of big Overlord snipes should be over as long as sziky is careful from here on in.
They should be, but at the same time, if Pusan sees a big clump of Overlords, even if protected by Hydralisks and Spore Colonies, the splash of the Corsairs, he might just go for it anyway. We'll have to keep an eye on it. First Reaver coming in, dropping... Oh, he dropped it on the other side. I don't know if he meant to do that, but sziky didn't pull his drones far back enough, and he's going to lose 4 of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't just F3 and F2 back to his main and drill them home. Oh, managing to catch one Corsair out. A little bit short right there. sziky getting completely clued up. He's able to follow these guys out with one of his Hydralisks, so he knows exactly where the shuttle is headed. One Overlord is going to get taken out there on the left-hand side. The Corsairs are still reinforcing, so this is going to be a terrifying Corsair fleet. Look at how fast they take out Overlords. It's absolutely brutal stuff. sziky is going to see the extra coming in to back him up across the map. Oh, did he manage to Scourge out the shuttle? No, the shuttle still lives. He managed to get a couple of Scourge landing on some Corsairs. He might lose a shuttle right here, though. There's some Scourge chasing after. Will he be able to get it down? No, he will not. sziky getting a little bit over-enthusiastic right there. And, yeah, pusan plowing on, continuing to try and get to harass him, but he's pulling back now. That shuttle looking quite damaged as well. Oh, score, by the way.
Yeah,
score.
I forgot that. I don't know if you caught it, Elegant, during all that, but sziky just finished his burrow upgrade. So sziky's going to try to get very fancy in this year. We already see the Hydralisks burrowed at Pusan's 3rd here, and that's a very easy path for the shuttle to fly over. If he's not paying attention, those Hydralisks will be able to snipe it immediately. And as we talked about, Pusan can't afford to lose his shuttles. He now has 2 of them with 3 Reavers total.
Absolutely. Well, he's two robo production right now, so he's going heavy on this. He's going to have a lot of Reavers. But if sziky can snipe them out kind of fairly consistently, or he can at least try to, and just keep the numbers down, he might be able to do well against this. But we have the shuttles coming into the natural as well right now. Can he snipe out the Reavers? Oh, disruption right now. This is some pimp stuff right now from pusan. But one Reaver does go down. He might be able to get another Reaver down as well. A lot of the Hydralisks are unable to shoot. Some of them are still in action, but it looks like pusan will just be able to do enough against this. I remember I've seen this once before, and it can be incredibly scary for his own player. Fortunately, Disruption Web does not last very long, and he could be able to snipe out some Reavers now. A couple of Overlords throwing away their lives needlessly, and after doing plenty of damage, pusan will pull back. He took out a lot of stuff right there, though. sziky looking pretty thin on the ground in terms of drones. He's going to have to rehatch some more right now, but the Hydra is in decent position to get some snipes off. But pusan smartly manages to take stuff away, and look at how damaged that shuttle is. 5 health remaining to it with 2 Reavers in it. That would have been a massive windfall for sziky.
Man, I was getting all excited because sziky was going to do some pimp stuff with Burrow, and then pusan just raising the pimp level 3 notches beyond that with so much D-Web. Oh man, that absolutely making it very difficult for sziky to do anything. More D-Web's going down, and sziky has to micro his Hydralisks very well. He does manage to snipe a shuttle, but it had already dropped off everything, so he's not actually going to lose any Reavers. Losing the other shuttle too. Taking out both the shuttles will keep that army immobile for a while.
Yeah, that's more peace of mind than anything else for sziky right now.
Yeah. We haven't had a chance to talk about this before, but great Corsair micro from pusan. Given the amount of Scourge he's made, given the amount of Corsairs that have been out of the field, there have been a very low number of Scourge hits. And that's a testament to pusan consistently watching his Corsairs, not moving them, always A-moving them, never, never allowing the Scourge to get in, never making his Corsairs unclump.
Yeah, it looks like Ziky's making ready for a two-pronged attack. He's going to try and go in the back and snipe out these Reavers. If he does, Pusan will be in a very, very weak position right here. He's trying to go at the ramp. The D-Web gets laid down. Will he be able to get in on those Reavers? There's only one Zealot blocking at the front. The Hydra's going to be coming up now. One Reaver almost going down. He might be able to get all these Reavers right here, putting him in a fantastic position to get rid of this entire third base. Will he be able to get these two Reavers? It looks like he will. One of them gets sniped down. Another one gets sniped down. There's only one Zealot remaining in there to defend. The Overlord's coming in as well, but the Corsairs are forced to flee. There are 3 more Reavers waiting in the natural, so at least Pusan is safe for now. Minerals really building up now with no gateway support. He's got 2k and 800 minerals in the bank at this stage, and he's lost control of his third base, and Sziky taking up a fourth. Sziky is in a superb position against a player who is doing his absolute best to take this game, and making up the lurkers and making ready to really dig in right here.
Yep. Pusan's back out on the field with 2 Reavers, but notice that he's using that very injured shuttle. Have to keep an eye on that because it's going to go down very quickly to Hydralisks. Just 6 Hydralisk shots and it's gone.
Big Scarab landing right there. Oh, and a Reaver goes down. Slightly unfortunate right there. Slightly missed micro from Pusan. Will another Reaver go down as well? Wandering through Lurker Fire. He's going to lose a lot of health at the very least. More Hydra is coming in now, and Pusan's going to have to pull back. There is no way he can defend this. He looks like he's going to lose another Reaver in the process. Great, great stuff right here from Sziky. Constant aggression. Well measured, and very, very well executed right now. So he completely takes down that third base attempt, and Pusan is forced back into a guerrilla warfare harassment style. And he's in so much trouble. He's constricted to a tiny economy, and very soon Sziky's Hydralisk numbers are going to explode. Sziky is looking dominant in this match.
Ooh, finally Sziky getting the nice Scourge hit he needs. We saw Pusan is now getting a 3rd Robo, so he is just not going to build any gateways at all, going all in with the Reaver Sair. Now, you can see that Burrow has been researched we can see it being used on the drones. Sziky gonna hide them from the Reavers. It's better than pulling them, unless he has an observer, which he doesn't. He can't target them down. And now, once again, those units are gonna be forced back. Pusan really needs an observer now to carry around with this, and that's just one extra thing to micro. But otherwise, these lurkers are just going to be too much of a pain to deal with.
Yeah. I just saw someone in the chat say this toss is horrible. Anyone who doesn't know who Pusan is a very, very good player. An ex-pro gamer, still plays very regularly, very high ranked on Fish. So to say this toss is horrible is an incredibly bold statement with little or nothing to back it up. Sziky must be playing incredibly well to make him look bad, but make no mistake, this toss is not horrible. This guy is good.
Yeah, and he hasn't made any terrible mistakes. He's playing Sair Reaver quite well. It's just Sziky's doing a good job of not crumbling under unrelenting pressure. Managing to get another shuttle snipe. And he could get another hit if he wanted to, but no, he's gonna chill.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. This is incredibly well executed from Sziky, and Sair Reaver is a difficult strategy. It's so micro-intensive and requires so many things to fall into place for it to work at all. It looks like Sziky is well clued up to this latest third base attempt. It looks like he's making ready for another 2-pronged attack. I think there may be too many Reavers and too much D-Web for him to break it this time. Nonetheless, it is, and it's still an incredibly late base. Will he be able to get any snipes on these Reavers first, though? Darting all the way at the ramp, might be able to get one of them very, very quickly. 2 of them are going to go down very, very fast here. Will he be able to do the 2-pronged attack as well? He is going to try to do that. Maybe even 3 Reavers going to go down right off the bat here, and Sziky is probably going to be able to break this once again. Does he have the macro to back it up? He is macroing hard, keeping his minerals nice and low, sniping out a lot of Reavers right there. Looks like Pusan going to hold on to it for the time being, but wow, my goodness, this position suddenly looking a lot less strong than it did only a second ago, and Sziky's going to start flooding units out, and he's going to get stronger and stronger from this point on. Pusan needs to hold that and needs to get some serious macro up behind it, finally spending that bank, but still no gateway support whatsoever. He is still entirely committed on Reavers and Corsairs and Zealots and D-Web. That's it. That is his lot.
Yeah, and we saw in the last battle, he really is not using D-Web effectively, but without a gateway army, your D-Web's not an option anymore. It's a requirement to be able to win this. The Reavers can't quite kill fast enough if you don't have D-Web to slow down the opponent. Sziky is doing a good job with the double-pronged attacks, with spreading out his units that D-Webs aren't going to be able to hit very well, but that's not good, laying so many D-Webs all on top of each other like that. He's going to be able to hold out once again, but... still, if he can't get up this third base, there's no way Pusan can continue into this game. As we can see, his other bases are mined out. And, ooh, carrier number 1 is on the field. Huh.
Yeah. I don't see this working. I mean, of course, in conjunction with Corsairs, carriers are actually decent PvZ. It's easy to assume they're not, but they are actually good because when there's a lot of Corsairs to defend. And Pusan, I will say that for him, he's done a fantastic job of keeping those Corsairs alive this game. Heading out now, oh, threatening to get caught, manages to lose 1 Corsair, and sziky, now knowing what's up, is going to be flying with a big flight of Scourge. Will he be able to catch the shuttles on the way past? This could be huge for sziky right now. He's positioning the Scourge perfectly, and will the Corsairs be on a move order? No, they are on attack order, so it will be okay for Pusan, but he will have to pull back, not losing the shuttles, but not doing any damage either. Not losing at this point is not enough. He needs to be doing damage.
Yeah, carriers are a viable option, but they're a viable option when you have more than 1 base mining. It's too mineral intensive for the kind of economy he has now. And, I mean, I guess adding on more Corsairs isn't exactly going to help, so might as well go for a carrier transition if you're not going to build any gateways at all.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, he needs to, just at the rate that these carriers are building, he needs to stall for a very long time.
Yeah.
Before he's going to have enough carriers where they can be effective. And as we saw, sziky already has his Defiler map down. Plague's good, Swarm is good, but here comes 4 more Reavers. This is where D-Web really helps out because the Hydralisks get very clumped up, but he's just not casting enough of it. Only 1 D-Web goes down. He could have done a lot more damage there if he had spread out his D-Webs a little bit better like he had earlier in this game.
Yeah, it seems he was not aware that this base was up on the right-hand side, looking completely surprised as he flew on in past that. How did he kill that? Oh, he's got an observer in there. Okay, so he did know that what was going on there. And sziky might be able to get in and do so. A couple of snipes right here. The D-Web is slow, but it will just be quick enough. D-Web is, of course, quite unconventional micro, but sziky is going to be forced to retreat right here because those Reavers are just way too much for him to handle right now. And Pusan, yeah, still doing a good job. I mean, he's on 1 base, so his economy is looking pretty shot up, but he might have 1 final crack at it if he can do enough damage fast enough with these carriers before the last of his cash runs out.
Yeah. And Pusan definitely is running out of money. As you can see, he's under 100 consistently now. And he's not only spending money on the carriers, he's spending lots of money on the interceptors. He's also spending a sizable amount of money on scarabs. So keep that in mind, that's also something that might suffer if he, while he's trying to pump out as many carriers as possible. He's going in for more grass here. Oh, doesn't quite land the Scourge hit, but drones and Scourge will see this coming in. sziky getting a Hydralisks and Zerglings into place to go for an attack, get the snipe off. No, but the Zerglings lead it to the Hydralisk, not going to be able to get there in time.
Oh, the Hydra's coming in now to defend. 1 Corsair gets sniped off, and he's going to have to fly straight out there the other side, but he is going into this base right here. A lot of Overlords right for the picking, however. He might be able to get some Overlord kills, but once again, sziky burrowing down to make sure his drones are entirely safe. The Spore Colony gets D-Web, though. It's so rare that we see this. It's just pretty crazy. Spending like 100 minerals on killing 1 drone, that's not cost efficient, but wow, Reavers are so damn good. Munching through that Spore Colony in 1. Zzikie's map vision, though, is so good. He's going to be right on top of this harass as soon as it comes in, and it looks like he might be able to snipe out 1 Reaver, but the D-Webs just making that impossible. And Pusan is doing an incredible job of keeping sziky down. I mean, this is amazing stuff. That D-Web and Reaver combination is tough stuff to beat, and sziky is actually having a little bit of trouble against this.
Well, he's going for a huge counterattack. Look at all the streams of orange coming across. Dark Swarm going down in front of the base. There's a nice Dark Swarm, and there is no defenses to guard against so many Zerg units. sziky's going to be able to bust through this very quickly. Where are the reinforcements? No, Pusan's not bringing back the Reavers to help out. He really needs to, or else he's going to lose his main base. He does have a lot of carriers, though. Will the carriers be enough? If he can't.
Yeah, the issue is, if sziky would suddenly hatch out a bunch of Scourge and then see the carriers without Corsair support, he'd be able to take out those carriers pretty handily. He is going to lose control of his natural, so Pusan going to lose both of his Robos, but he's pretty much unable to produce too much more. Anyway, now he will finally see the carriers, and he's got to formulate something quickly, probably in the form of Devourers, but he really hasn't got the money at this point. Having said that, he is doing quite well for gas, quite well for minerals. The natural being taken down does force these carriers to be revealed. But Pusan's map vision is creeping smaller and smaller. He's able to defend this, but for how long against such a superior economy?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite necessary. I don't think that Pusan has enough of an air force for Devourers to really be necessary. I think that sziky can get away with just using Hydralisk and Swarm if he can get his units out in a good enough position. Looks like Zyky's gearing up for a drop here. Pure cracklings looks like about 2 control groups worth.
But really all he needs to do with this is kill that base. He needs to kill that next, and then these carriers suddenly become a lot less potent. They will still be potent for a little while, don't get me wrong. They are terrifying right now. Sziky needs to hatch a plan very, very, very quickly. Colonies are not going to do it. There's so much D-web in there that colonies are not going to even close to do it. And the drop comes into the 12 o'clock base right now. Will it be defended? It looks like there's more than enough cannons in there to deal with this. Sziky dropping lots of stuff down. Might be able to take out that Reaver, but so many links going down right away. The Reaver, somehow survives. And the carriers are in Zyky's natural right now, so this is crazy stuff right now. Sziky will be wondering what is going on. But either way, these carriers are going to make mincemeat of the natural, going to progress onto the main as well quite quickly. And if I was Sziky right now, I'd be remaking some tech elsewhere. He is getting Devourers. He's hatched a few extra mutants as well, so I'm sure they're going to be made into Devourers quite soon. Devourers are good, but I don't know if there'll be a match for this number of stairs. And carriers, right, yeah, so Zyky's being relegated to a 2-base economy. All his tech is in severe jeopardy. And yeah, he's got to do something big, whilst all the while Pusan is left now on 1 base. So this is true refugee toss style, and he's got no choice but to try and take it with what he has.
And Pusan's going to be in a very extreme position soon, as there are 6 cracklings that is going to take out everything in Pusan's main. The Devourer's coming in, but the Devourers really can't do anything here. I'm questioning Zyky's decision to make them. They really do help against the Corsairs, but lots of Scourge hits coming in, going to take out 2 of the carriers. Where are the Defilers to get off those Plagues? The Plagues would do so much damage right now. It's not going to be quite able to do enough, but it doesn't matter. If he can keep the carriers here, Pusan's actually in jeopardy of being eliminated from this game, as Sziky is planning yet another attack. Well, most of these overlords are empty. The vast majority of them are.
5 circlings total. He's not going to be able to break this at all right now, but he's going to have to try. In come the Lings, and they're just kind of a precursor to the Hydras coming up. Can he snipe out the Reaver? He can snipe out 1 Reaver. Will be able to snipe out the second one on very, very low health. Looks like he's going to be able to get 2 Reaver snipes right here. Ooh, 1 Reaver just running away in time. Will the Scarab land? The Scarab does land, and Sziky was able to land 2 whole flights of Scourge on those carriers, so only 4 carriers left. Sziky is still right in here. He still has some cash in the bank and is remaking his tech now, just as I thought he should have done a little bit earlier, but he is remaking the tech at that bottom left-hand base, which is still intact. But he's not going to be able to eliminate Pusan right yet, at least. Pusan is doing his best to defend. He's got another forge up and running. He's just cannoning like crazy, but he has to win with this force right now. He can't make any more. That is his lot.
Sziky needs to throw up his Defiler Mound before the Hive dies.
Yeah, he really does.
Don't know why
he's not doing so. He's got no gas.
Well, yeah, Sziky getting a pretty good vision surround on Pusan's last remaining base. As the carriers are working on the last buildings of Zyky's base, the Lings are working on the last buildings of Pusan's base, so it will be a complete main-for-main trade. And Pusan will... Go ahead.
I'd say that Sziky comes off better in economy, worse on tech, and tech is what he needs right now. He's going to be fighting against this Air Force. He needs to be able to produce quite a lot of Scourge, and there's Reavers coming in now as well, so Pusan still has a couple of shuttles running around, making life difficult. Sziky continuing to throw down more bases. I think this is sensible. He needs to get gas as quickly as he possibly can. So the top left-hand base goes down, the left-hand side base goes down too. And it's just a race against time. When will the carriers arrive, and what will he have to deal with them? At this point, not much.
In terms of tech, actually, Pusan's going to have Gateway and a Forge. So Pusan actually just doesn't have tech. It's all down to 4 carriers. Can Sziky figure out a way to kill 4 carriers? That helps getting some Hydralisk snipes off, taking down the shields. Oh man, but D-Web carriers are going to be so effective, especially with Sziky, such a small army. Sziky doesn't have the good positioning. This is a great position for carriers. He's trying to get in there with Hydralisk. Any damage he can do is good, but he doesn't have a Defiler Mound, which I really think would be the answer to this. No, he didn't have a chance to rebuild it. He's now building the lair. But Sziky just doesn't have a lot of units. He can't afford to trade, and now the Reavers are landing. And that's going to make it so hard for the Hydralisk to get in there. Does manage to get a Hydralisk snipe, but these D-Webs are going down, stopping everything. And there are still 2 Reavers left in the natural. This natural is going to go down as well.
God damn it, Sziky, you are fighting such an uphill battle right here. This is just such a strong army combination. And Pusan, just when he looked to be down and out, he is fighting right back. 1 carrier there on incredibly low health, so that's very, very slappable as long as Sziky is on point. But the rest of them looking peachy keen and shiny. They are looking great in terms of health, and sziky is now producing Hydralisks at a trickle, but he's down to 1 base, and I think he's going to be finished off right here. Pusan with a terrifying army combination, sniping out 1 Reaver, and taking down some interceptors, but it doesn't matter because, of course, Pusan can produce interceptors all day long. That's the one thing he can actually still really make. And the one thing he really needs right now as well, which is kind of handy for him. And sziky might actually
Zeke's going to wait for the carriers to get a little bit too far ahead, and I think he's going to go in for the snipe. Yeah, yes, he is. He got 1 carrier. And now he's going to pull back. That was his opportunity. He really wanted to bait the carriers out as far as possible and then move in for the snipe. He might have another chance here. He can't afford to lose too many Hydralisks, though. The Hydralisks are going down. Now he's stepping forward. How many carriers is he going to get? None. He's not going to get any of the carriers. 29 kill carrier. 27 kill carrier. Oh,
30.
Absolutely brutal.
He went for the Reaver snipe instead. I mean, these carriers are looking a bit weak, but he didn't scout them early enough. Had he scouted them earlier, no problem. He would have easily been able to deal with this because he would have had all the tech in time. He would have had the necessary force because this was Pusan's one opportunity. This was his one way back into this game. But yeah, Pusan, all credit to him for taking this. This is very, very impressive, and it looks like he will indeed take it. Sziky on his absolute last legs right now. I mean, those 2 hidden bases not really going to help him any, and the carriers and Reaver just making their way through what remains of his economy.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to say you're out when the Protoss has 70 supply and is not mining at all. But I don't know if Sziky can hold off. He is trying to get 2 more bases started up. He has one of them okayly saturated, and any saturation is better than Pusan's. Pusan only has 4 units that can attack ground. But 4 units that can attack ground might just be too much for Sziky to handle. I don't know. I think Sziky has 1 more shot. If he wants to try to get 1 more control group of Hydralisks going, he might be able to do that. He has enough economy, and the carriers might be delayed enough, but...
Scouting shuttle right now. He knows he only needs 1. So heading up to the top, and GG from Sziky. Wow, Pusan, how did you do that? And Pusan actually mined out too. Wow, what a clutch game from the go-to Korean right there. Incredible stuff to see, and it goes to 1-0 when it all looked to be finished for the Protoss player, and that was some genius stuff right there, backed up by incredible micro.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if Sziky hadn't expanded in a line like that and expanded to the other side of the map,
yeah,
maybe.
Okay, so Fish is still down for its daily maintenance. Should we switch over to IC Cup?
That's unfortunate. Fish went down for a while, or went down a while ago. Let me try to get the gateway going. Sometimes the gateway editor works, sometimes it doesn't want to.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
IC Cup, zone, +1. I don't remember what this is supposed to be. Let's see. Is it sc.theabyss or theabyss.sc?
sc.theabyss.re, I think. Okay, I'm gonna get it booted up too. So yeah, guys, don't be going anywhere because the rest of the games are coming up now. We're just getting onto a server which is actually up because Fish is down for its daily dose of whatever on earth they do to it. The Koreans have to get some sleep, I guess, so that's that 10-minute window where they can do so before it's StarCraft time again. So we're gonna go cast on a different server for the minute.
Yep. Oh, I am not actually typing the StarCraft window. There we go. Oh, this is my account.
Cool.
Right, I have different names. Alright, I'm in. Same name as before.
I'm going to be in just a second once I can make my gateway thing behave itself as well. You know how it is, I don't need to tell you.
Of course.
Okay, I am now on.
And the game is now hosted.
Awesome.
Thank you, UD the Marine.
Okay, wow, you have no anti-hack.
No. You've discovered me, Elegant. I am a secret Icy Cup hacker. I hack
Knew it.
everybody's Icy Cup.
I knew it, man. I always wondered why you're so ghosty.
Yeah, man. That's actually why I'm such a good observer. I use map hacks, so I can totally see everything. Alright. So are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's go.
Can't believe this is only game 2. I mean, game 3 rather. Game 2 was ridiculous.
Game 2. It's so weird. It's like that stuff of StarCraft Legends right there. Protoss with 0 mining, 1 Reaver, and 3 carriers still wins.
Yeah. Mad stuff. I mean, if sziky had just been a little bit more prepared, it would have looked so much different. You can see how small of a margin that was. If sziky had just seen that a little bit earlier, he would have been able to do something about it, and he would have been able to actually deal with this. But nonetheless, we are seeing some incredible stuff. Everyone who predicted an absolute walkover, I hope you are eating your respective hats right now, because such a thing is not looking likely, and already sziky taking 1 game. So this is game 3. These players standing at 1-all. Spawning in the top left-hand corner as the brown Zerg, we have Sas sziky. And in the bottom right-hand corner, the fabulous Korean ex-pro gamer playing under the name Spirit Park, Pusan as the red Protoss.
And Pusan going back to 1 base play. He's already thrown down his in-base pylon.
Yep. Oh, by the way, you're not live on Team Liquid still.
I was at one point.
You no longer are.
Ugh.
I was wondering why we weren't gaining viewers. So, yeah, let's gain some viewers then. Okay.
I am.
I can't see you.
I don't know why, but I can see me. And I can show the stream that the...
Okay, I just refreshed and now I can see you.
Okay.
Awesome. Weird bug for a second there. Okay, nonetheless, let us examine what is going on in this game. We have pool happening right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, we have pool going down for sziky so far. And happening another 1 base play from Pusan. Why would you do this, Mr. Protoss, after the way game 1 went?
I'm really interested to see if he changes it up, because last time he played a really aggressive 1 base play and was going, but it was such a weird, because he wanted to be really aggressive off of 1 base, but only built 1 gateway initially. So it was just it was a confusing build, and he's certainly capable of playing 1 base and playing 1 base very well. I just want to see him do it differently. Yo, sziky with the map hacks. He had been scouting the drone to the close location every game, and now that his opponent's cross, he's gonna send it cross.
Nah, sziky too gosu.
Yeah,
too gosu for this game.
Don't know how he knew to do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Either way, this is gonna be 1 base play once again. A little bit of a crazy scouting pattern, but sziky will discover it nice and early as the first zealot's on his way out, so he's going to be following that zealot up with Mr. Drone right there. I'm surprised he's not taking the drone all the way into the base and keeping that alive for as long as possible. Also surprised we don't have gas yet, so this is going to be a very incredibly old school, quirky expansion style play right here from Pusan. It's so weird and rare to see this. But it can work nonetheless. I mean, just a little bit quirky. Getting the scout out now as well. He's gonna know where sziky is right now. So yeah, onwards and upwards into the mid game. Definitely taking a pretty strong deviation from game 1.
Yeah, this is a really weird build, because now Pusan, he's gonna need to keep his zealots down to defend the Nexus. At the same time, he needs to keep his zealots close to the ramp to try to block it.
Yeah, he has enough zealots, I think, to do both at this point. sziky's just going to be darting in and out. I wonder if he's going to produce some more zealots, zerglings rather. A mass ling kind of attack could work very nicely against this. He does have a couple more lings waiting back at home, but it looks like he is starting to hatch up drones instead, so probably not going to go crazy all in on this, and he's going to let Pusan get that economy up. The advantage of this build is, of course, tech does happen quicker, so it can often gear you up quite nicely for a speed zealot attack, because of course you have that big bunch of speed zealots right from the early game as well, and combined with the fast tech, it can be a little bit scary. But nonetheless, sziky going on to a 3rd base, so just playing it solid right here.
Yeah, sziky now getting a forge, and all things considered, he's going to have all the buildings of a forge FE at around the right times. It's just that he's going to have a lot of extra zealots compared to no cannons. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a very strong timing attack coming out from Pusan. Probably going to wait for speed to finish, but he might even have 14, 15 zealots by that time.
Yeah.
Won't have +1 though. The very late forge means that +1 probably not going to factor in, meaning that those things are going to have a little bit easier of a time, but that's a relatively speaking. He's gonna, or Pusan's going to have a lot of zealots out, and +1 isn't going to hurt him. Not having it isn't going to hurt him that much.
I'm surprised that he's gone for Stargate first rather than going for Citadel first, but I guess he sees no reason not to play it safe at this point. That probe's still making a pain of itself. Getting the scouts in at the 12 o'clock, I mean, it's not too much of a big deal. It's not seeing anything crazy, but nonetheless, sziky will want to be taking that out as soon as possible. So yeah, the Stargate happening now back at home for Pusan. He does have the +1 happening as well, so I'm wondering if he's going to delay the Zealot push for a quite significant amount of time and wait for that +1 to come in, or whether he's just going to go for it and then +1 comes in after. He has got the air weapons happening as well, so going for another strong Corsair fleet game. Still no Citadel, so I think he may be delaying that to coincide with his +1.
Yeah, maybe. Then, I mean, at that point, we're really talking about a late timing attack to the point where it's not considered a timing attack anymore. It's just going to be whenever he moves out.
That kind of late timing attack can be curious, because if you force Zerg to prepare at this point for a timing attack, he's going to prepare a specific defense that works against the timing attack at this point. Whereas if a stronger later timing attack comes, then that early preparation can actually set the Zerg really far back, because he spent cash earlier on preparations which then become inadequate. And so that can set the Zerg's economy back and the whole of the Zerg's mid game back, and even not preparing well for a bigger later game timing attack that Pusan will still be doing. So that could actually be the way that this play works out, and we could see it come to fruition for that reason.
Yeah, definitely if sziky doesn't prepare correctly, his economy is going to be shot. But we'll see if sziky's going to be able to figure it out. He sees the Corsair moving out. That should be an indication that the timing isn't coming out immediately, unless it's going to be a slow lot timing. sziky's throwing down a little bit of defense, but just a couple of sunken at each base. Luckily for him, it is cross, which gives him a little bit of extra time if he needs to be reactionary with his defenses. First Corsair going to pick up.
Oh, the Mutas might be able to get the first Corsair out right here. It looks like he's going to hang around for the Overlord kill, not getting it though. So he's not going to get the Overlord kill, and definitely sziky's going to be able to take out that Corsair, no contest. And this is a smart follow-up from sziky. He knows what's coming at him. He knows that there's going to be a lot of zealots. Surprised that Pusan was so quick to throw away that first Corsair. I would have thought he'd be a bit more familiar with his timings. But nonetheless, it is going to be a +1 speed zealot attack from Pusan, and it's so crazy that he's able to produce so many off one gateway. He's going to lose a lot of health off his zealots, losing one zealot right away right here, and the Corsair fleet is still nowhere near big enough. Only one Corsair at the moment, so it's going to be a little while before Pusan can make this work. And does he have enough to defend? He's got one cannon on the way and only one Corsair defending. If sziky went in right there, he could have done so incredibly much damage, but there are now two cannons in pretty nice positions, and two Corsairs as well. Should be enough to defend, but he might be able to get a few more hits on the zealots, and of course one gate speed zealot attacks. He's been able to build up these zealots for a long time, so he's got a decent number, but he cannot replenish them quickly. So if these go down, then that attack's going to be severely weakened, possibly beyond repair.
Pusan's main is looking really weak. He has only two cannons, and they're very far spread out from each other. I don't know if I like sziky being so passive at this point. I think that he could really abuse this. There's a growing number of Corsairs, and +1 did finish, so he needs to be careful, but I definitely think that good things can happen. If he spread out the Mutalisks, he'd be able to kill off the Corsairs, and could certainly work down one cannon at a time. But you know what? Against such a good player as Pusan, you have to expect perfect micro from him, and sziky's just going to play it safe. He doesn't want to lose his doesn't want to lose all of his Mutalisks to a freak accident with Corsairs, or even a possible really fast Archon if Pusan had done something really odd. I'm just going to play it safe.
Yeah, and that makes complete sense. And it looks like he's getting him a decent position in the mid-game. sziky with a good flight of Scourge flying around, a good flock of Mutalisks as well. Some of them looking a little bit damaged, but for the most part looking intact. Pusan, in a second, he is going to have that critical number of Corsairs. He's got 5 +1 Corsairs out now, so he should be able to hold his own against Scourge if his micro is very, very careful and he doesn't slip up at any point. So it's probably safer to wait for his 6 to come out, so he's got a little bit of headway. And now the speed zealots are ready to come out as well. I don't think this is going to be any real concerted timing attack. I think at this point he's pretty much stuck with just gaining a little bit of map control and trying to get a third base up and running. Sziky needs to be scouting around effectively with his muses to prevent that, and I think he will be able to prevent that if he does so. A couple of High Templar out now. Well, looks like he's not going to be making them into an Archon straight away as Sziky comes in, possibly to do a little bit of mineral line harass. He's just out of range of that cannon there. If he micros correctly, going to be able to take out a fair few probes. 5 or 6 going down so far, but now the Corsairs come in and going to be able to see off those muses. But a big flight of Scourge coming in. Will he be able to get the Corsairs? Oh my god, so many Scourge hits landing right now, and the Corsairs are down to 3 at this point. I mean, the muses are going down, but damage done. The Corsair fleet is damaged pretty horribly for the time being, so it's going to be a little while before that's maximum effectivity.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to say that was a really big win for Sziky. Losing your Mutalisks is so damaging, because now Pusan's going to be immediately able to push out with nothing but Zealots in a single Archon. If those Mutalisks were still on the field, Pusan would have to be a lot more careful, and now Ziky's going to have to figure out a way to hold this off. He has an okay number of Hydralisks, a good SimCity, but that is just so many +1 speed loss to be dealing with. This might actually be rather difficult for him.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really difficult for him. I think he'll be able to hold off against the first wave because he has a good enough number of Hydralisks, I think, and enough to come in from his third base to back him up as well. Pusan should be worried about over-engaging right now, and I think he is concerned about that. Taking out the Spore Colony, sensible move, and pulling back straight away because I think he knew what was going to be coming. So Sziky right now will be wishing he still had some Mutalisks left. And whilst he managed to weaken the Corsair fleet for a time, I think that Pusan's actually going to be just fine despite that. Hydralisks are now able to push that Protoss force all the way back across the map, and he will be effective at doing that. A few more Zealots coming in to back up. Will he be able to get down to this third base before all the cannons come up? It's going to be a matter of time, but I think Pusan's force is strong enough to see these Hydralisks away. But now High Templar coming in. I think he already has the Storm upgrade done, and he has a lot of Storm waiting those High Templar. He's had them up and running for a long time. Will Pusan be able to trap the Hydralisks? Oh, lovely Storm being thrown down. Sziky now in full retreat, losing a lot of Hydralisks on the way as well, many of them on low health too. Pusan finding a lovely engagement position right there, and this third base is going to make it up.
That was an absolutely brutal storm. Sziky is going to scout the third, as you said, but there's little he can do about it. This is looking like a very scary army from Pusan. Where are the Lurker Tech? Lurker Tech about 70% done. I really think that that's what Sziky needs to hold out for, because until that happens, the storm is going to be so devastating, and those Zealots can rip through the Hydralisks very easily. Sziky needs to buy his time until he can get some Lurkers out on the field, and just be very careful to try to dodge as much storm as possible. The Zealots are coming in. The storm's a little bit late, but no! Oh, brutal storm. Absolutely brutal storm. Another good storm.
Holy crap, Sziky, your force is getting demolished right now. Incredible storms happening from Pusan. He is able to take out so many Hydralisks at relatively little cost. It might just be enough to defend right now for Sziky, but Pusan already on a third base. Oh, another nice storm, cleaning up pretty much all the remains of these Hydras right now. The Lings now being hatched, going to come in and try and take out those Archons. So Pusan's force is going to end up going down, but he is able to remake it quite fast, keeping his minerals nice and low. He has a decent enough gateway count too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 gateways, but that's going to be enough to make a lot of speeds out very quickly. And look at this army once again pushing out into the middle. Will Sziky be able to make enough reinforcements fast enough to deal with this? He looks like he's having a little bit of trouble in doing so. I mean, he does have a decent enough Hydralisk force back out, and Lurkers now too. Pusan's still without observers, so Sziky probably going to be safe and able to see this off.
Yeah, Ziky's biggest weakness in ZVP by far is the fact that he really just has trouble with storm dodging. He doesn't do it very often, and you saw it really cost him there. But now Lurkers are out on the field. Good storms going down, going to get 2 of the Lurkers, and only 1 Lurker remains. It's going to force Pusan back, but still, good damage done with these storms. Pusan just... he has not whiffed on a storm yet. All of them have been getting multiple kills, doing lots and lots of damage.
Yeah, right on the money. Look at this observer timing as well. It's all too common for Protoss to really mess up the observer timing, but this is spot on from Pusan. He's going to be able to easily deal with those Lurkers now, and Sziky is really on the ropes at this stage. Still no 4th base. He's got one happening at the top right-hand corner now, but that's incredibly delayed. The Lurkers, will they pop in time? I'm not sure if it matters. There's only 2 Lurkers out right now, and a hugely superior force coming in right now from Pusan. He manages to snipe out the observer, so that could just be his saving grace right here, and all the Zealots now standing on top of Lurker fire, going to get taken down quite smartly. It's still costing Sziky quite badly to try, and managing to splash down the Lurker as well, so this is still looking good for Pusan. He's pushing in, and he just keeps taking down the army. Sziky managing to maintain no map control whatsoever, and Pusan is all over this. Secret bottom left-hand base being taken down now, so that's not going to be happening from Sziky. Decent scouting from Pusan in order to make sure that was not going to happen. Top right-hand base is coming up, however, so if that could be fortified quick enough, then Ziky's economy might be able to bounce back.
Yeah, Pusan's getting the better end of this engagement. Lucky from him, he was just attacking Zerglings anyway. It happened to splash down the Lurker. And sziky now has a good number of Lurkers out on the field. So he's going to have 6 at his, he's going to have 6 at his main, linking up with a bunch of Hydralisks and Zerglings. And this is a rather scary army. Pusan's going to need some good storms to deal with it, and, well, he actually doesn't have any High Templar with his army. I see only a single one with not even a storm yet. Some Dragoon reinforcements though. Oh, and sziky's going in for the attack with a big army. Pusan forced to retreat. He's getting out of range of the Lurkers. Good job. Gonna be able to pick off a couple of the Zerglings, but now he's getting too close and the Lurkers are doing a lot of damage to him. Clumped up Zealous taking a lot of hits here. He needs to back up. The Dragoons have been revealed as well, so sziky was looking for the Dragoon Snipe, not gonna quite get it. And Pusan's going to try to take the middle expansion. He's in a good position, but that's a bit bold.
A bit bold. I mean, that's some very clumped Lurkers right though. He's severely at risk of big storms. He needs to declump those Lurkers absolutely right now, because otherwise he's taking such a heavy risk of getting them all stormed at once. And of course, we all know that 2 storms deals with Lurkers. He's still clumped them up really pretty badly. Going in for the High Templar snipe with some links. He's able to get a decent surround on the Dragoons as well. Will be able to take out this army. The Dragoons are left pretty much to their own devices, and there's plenty of links in right there. A storm getting thrown down. Might just snipe out his own observer. Doesn't quite, but there's quite a few Dragoons going down right now. Will the High Templar go down? Yes, the High Templar will go down. So sziky able to make sure that that middle base does not get up, because that would be really humiliating at this stage of the game. So he's holding out that position for the time being. He needs to make sure that he still spreads himself decently across the map right now. He has some lings ready and waiting at his natural expansion. That's not going to be enough to see off this force by itself. And the Lurkers run the risk of getting caught severely out of position right now as well. I think Pusan's going to be easily able to clear these up. Horrible, horrible positioning right here for sziky. He's able to take out a couple of units with him, but that's expensive. Those Lurkers were absolutely crucial to his game plan. And now hatching more at his 3rd base. I'm surprised he hasn't got any more Hydralisks waiting in his natural. He's got a couple more happening now. But wow, sziky's defense is looking thin. Pusan on 166 supply, while sziky is on 106, and that means it's going to be very, very hard for him to hold on right here. The Speedlings coming in, trying to get a decent surround. He does get a halfway decent surround right here, but that Archon doing so much damage. 16 kills, 17 kills, 18 kills. Super Archon right here on +3 weapons, whilst those are +1 armor lings only right now. So this super effective Protest army is going to be pushing all the way in. I don't know if sziky has an answer for this. So many Dragoons coming in right now, going to siege down that natural super, super fast, and I think sziky is absolutely toasted in this game, in what was, to say the least, a very impressive performance from Pusan, pushing all the way in with those high damage Dragoons. And I think it's not going to be long now before sziky saves his energy for the next game.
Pusan attacked literally 15 seconds before Adrenal Gland finished. If Adrenal Gland had finished, the attack from the Lings at the back would have torn through so many more Dragoons. That Archon would have been killed when it had 15 kills, not 29. And it was that timing from Pusan. I don't know. It was such perfect timing. I don't know how he could have known when crack was coming up, but he hit exactly when he needed to, able to crush that army. sziky wanted to engage with cracklings, and he just didn't have the time. Pusan takes game number 3.
Yeah, wow. Incredible game right there from Pusan. I mean, sziky looked to be in a decent position in the early game. I think that mistake, losing a lot of Muselisks and didn't Scourge entirely as effectively as he possibly could, cost him quite badly. Those Muselisks would have been absolutely invaluable in safeguarding him against the Zealots. As such, all his subsequent expansions were severely delayed, and he really had trouble making his way through the game from there. But yeah, great performance right there from Pusan, and let's see what reply sziky has for that in game number 4, I believe we're going into now, as Pusan goes 2-1 up.
Yep. Game is hosted. It's also worth mentioning that throughout the constant aggression from both players, throughout all of that, all the great micro, both players had great upgrades. sziky was on 2-1 when the game finished, and as you said, Pusan was on 3-1. So both players really just showing a strong commitment to constant upgrades.
Yeah, and Pusan's constant aggression was more than enough to deal with what sziky had. I mean, absolutely relentless stuff right there.
Alright. Well, let's get started. Game number 4 of this best of 7. sziky needs to start mounting a comeback, win 3 of 4 right here.
Yeah. Okay, so spawning in the top right-hand corner as the very, very impressive Protoss ex-pro gamer, Pusan. And in the bottom right-hand corner, spawning in as the wonderful foreigner fighting the purple Zerg, Sass Sziky. Both of these guys, incredibly accomplished players. Pusan, the more so, the actual ex-pro gamer, still incredibly high ranked on Fish server right now, which is easily the hardest server there is. I mean, he's playing against top-notch players on a daily basis. This guy is way higher than A rank. And Sziky is looking decent enough, but he's going to have to pull out something pretty special in this game, as Pusan really found the extra gear somewhere kind of halfway through game 2, and is looking terrifying.
Wait, I'd hold off saying that. Oh, whoops! I got the colors backwards. I'd hold off saying that. I'd hold off saying that Pusan is more accomplished. Sziky won $1,000 in ISL too. How much prize money has Pusan won?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
All I'm saying, he didn't win an MSL. He didn't win an OSL. I think Sziky has actually won more prize money than Pusan.
Yeah, but how do you measure accomplishment? You know,
cold hard cash. There's no other way.
Okay, I'm gonna once again debate that, but I think that's a debate for another day. Because meanwhile we have another in-base play happening through Pusan. He saw how well last game went and he wants another slice of that action. So once again, Sziky going to have to be very, very smart against this. A little bit smarter than the last game. Will he scout cross positions again? Yes, he will. So he's definitely not map hacking. That's good to know.
Well, yeah, Pusan one base play once again. Just sticking with it with the exception of that second game. And he did play quite differently in Game 1 compared to Game 3. So we'll have to see how he does it now. I really think that Sziky needs to get Lings in the base. And wow, Pusan core before Zealot? That's bold.
Wow, that is incredibly bold. Absolutely banking on a 12 hatch right there, which of course we didn't see. So this could really come back and haunt him. He might have 2 zealots out, but more likely he might just have the 1 when these lings arrive. But Sziky going so light on the lings, producing 2 lings to start with, another 2 on the way. But I think Pusan might get away with this. 1 zealot is going to be enough to hold out against 2 lings. He's going to go straight for the Dragoon in a second here. So still, he's only going to have 1 zealot defending on the ramp. Sziky's going to see this in just a second, and then he's going to know what's up. And he's going to see that single zealot. Oh, and just moving into position in time. Pusan managing to deny the scout. And the lings making their way over now, but I think he might have a shot at breaking this, but only with a few more lings behind him.
He's going to need more lings, and it's just, this was the kind of build that Sziky does every once in a while. Oh, whoa!
What?
Sziky lings! Sziky lings stuck into the base despite the fact that was tight from the Zealot. Pusan had just kept it there, but he moved it a little bit to now. There is a Dragoon out, so they're probably not going to be able to get too much, although he does get the scout off. Oh, but I don't think he got close enough. Now he does. He's definitely going to see the Citadel. So Sziky knows that there is some very fast Dark Templars on the way.
Yeah, so that's smart stuff from Sziky, making sure he gets the full scout. We wouldn't want to half-ass this. He needs to know everything that's happening. So seeing that Citadel is going to be a pretty big deal. Hard to explain why Pusan moved the Zealot. I guess it was just a little bit of maybe nerves, and he saw and thought maybe it's not in the right position, just budged it a little bit, and it was a little bit too far. So Sziky gets the full scout in here, which is, of course, incredibly advantageous for him to have, because otherwise he might have been caught by surprise. Pusan doing a decent job of scouting at the same time as well. He gets all the way into Ziky's main, so he's going to see exactly what's happening as well. So both players with the full map hacks at this stage. Third base happening right now for Sziky as well. So yeah, he continues to play at standard. He's absolutely incorrigible.
These 2 Dragoons surrounding the Overlord. Oh, they will be able to get the vision and kill it off. And that's 2 very early Dragoons from Sziky, or excuse me, from Pusan. Ziky's going to be able to surround one of them with lings a little bit here, trying to get a couple of hits off on it. And yeah, it's really surprising to see 2 goons that early, just because goons are so weak compared to Zerglings, especially with no support around them. So Sziky producing some more lings now. Looks like one of the Dragoons is going to go back, which is a smart move. I don't think that they can stay alive very long. The other Dragoon coming around through the third, going to see the expansion, but ultimately going to get trapped. Well, I guess not.
Yeah, after a while, I mean, it's going to take some time. It will go down. There's absolutely no
There we
doubt about it. Finally getting trapped right there. So he having a hard time getting the full surround on it, but that really comes to nothing apart from a little bit of extra scouting information, which probably wasn't entirely necessary. Dark Templar now going to be on the way to Dark Templar. On the way out, I think he was probably just going a little bit of Overlord hunting right there, but unable to get the Overlord at the third. So sziky's still going to be decently enough defending against this. He has a lot of links coming up the ramp right now. Will he be able to do this? I think the defense is probably going to be solid enough, and if need be, Pusan will be able to drill out, and that's exactly what he's doing, getting the probe out there. And once again, the links get into the main base though, so he's going to see what's happening. Going in to have a little bit more of a crack at the Dragoon. Will he be able to get it down? He continues to go in with the links. He might be able to get that Dragoon, in which case that's a pretty nice break for him, but DTs will now be out, so that's going to be the end of this ling break. Two lings getting up the ramp and getting a full scouting, but not too much more than that. No extra damage to be done here.
Did you just see that DT kill the probe?
I did not. Oh, DT's coming into the third. There are two DTs right now going into the third. sziky's going to see that, but he's got nothing to deal with this. The third is definitely going to be going down right here. I mean, those lings are running around in the main still, but they're going to be able to do relatively little. That third base is undoubtedly finished. So sziky's going to need to readjust his game plan just a little bit, and he's going to have to defend a little bit better at his natural as well. He's got 4 lings on the way out. Yeah, 4 lings. He's going to have to try and drill these Dark Templar, but he's fighting with one-shot kill units, and finally the lings in Pusan's lane have been cleared up as well. So Pusan going for a mass DT strategy here, and it might be effective. sziky doing all he can to try and save his third base, and he's doing a manful job of it. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be enough. He can only delay the inevitable, and meanwhile he leaves himself very, very vulnerable to the DT backstab, which is what's going to be happening now. And he has no Overlords in his main base either. Should these DTs get through, which they're going to do, he's got to start running back with those Overlords right now if he's going to make anything of this, and the DTs make it all the way into the main. sziky, you are in an unbelievable amount of trouble, somehow managing to save his third base in what was an incredibly surprising move for him, but it doesn't matter because he's going to lose his main, which was probably a little bit more important than his third base. Mutants do pop out, however, and he does have one Overlord, which was heading in there for quite some time, so a nice bit of foresight right there from sziky, and he might even be able to save his Spire, but the DT's probably going to have enough damage on this to be able to get rid of that, and he's going to have to throw down another one very soon. DTs do manage to take the Spire down.
Yeah, just barely one hit away from killing off that DT. sziky, he has some Mutalisks out, but not really enough to do any damage.
Yeah.
Not to mention there's already Dark Archon out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't even know if we got Maelstrom, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he has yet, but anyway, I don't know how good sziky's economy is looking right now. Pusan's economy is about to get quite good. He's been saturating his mineral line to death, so he's going to be able to transfer out, and he's not even going to have to produce probes for very long at all, if at all really, after this, if he wants to go for a big 2-base thing, which I wouldn't be surprised if he did. sziky's still having to rally drones away from his third base because there's still a DT hiding behind that mineral line. Muta's coming in, and sziky GG straight out.
Yeah.
So wow, Pusan just looking dominating in that match. sziky knowing he has no chance of getting back right here. Very, very well executed there from our Protoss player.
Yeah, sziky, he had so few Mutalisks to begin with, and he flew in, saw lots of cannons, even saw the Archon, and he knew, without even checking the main, that Pusan was well defended against it. He wasn't going to be able to win the game with those 4 Mutalisks, and he had just taken so many drone kills, or drone losses.
Yeah.
Alright,
okay.
Game is up.
One way, just having to do the password again. Confusing stuff. And password isn't correct. Cool.
You can copy paste it from the chat.
I probably should do that, but I didn't. Alright, I'm ready to go.
Alright. In all 4 of these games so far, sziky's gone for a close third, rather than going for another natural.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. The third base was a bit strange, full stop in that game. And I do debate the decision. He left himself way too thinly spread, and it really, really showed. Pusan was just able to pounce and didn't even have to do that much. Once he saw the third base, I think he already had a very clear idea for exactly what was going to happen. And it happened, and sziky had nothing to say. So will he be a bit smarter about this match? Despite getting the full scout last game, I feel that his decision making really let him down. So can he bounce back after that pretty horrible defeat right there? Spawning in the top right hand corner are so far defeated, but managing to take one game and definitely not down and out. Orange Zerg, the Hungarian Sas Sziky, and in the top left hand corner, the magnificent ex-pro gamer, still regular streamer and very high ranker on Fish, Pusan as the purple Protoss. Yeah. And I think he's going to go for a Forge Fast expand, unlike many of these games so far.
Yeah, Pusan's certainly been showing us a wide variety of strategies this series, mixing it up between one-base play, and now this is his second game going with the standard Forge Fast expand.
Yeah.
And there's a whole wide range of branching options he could go to beyond a Forge Fast command. Obviously, only time will tell as to exactly which of those options he will go with. And Sziky, Ziky's Overlord's going to be finishing up. It's going to be a 12 pool or a 12 hatch. We'll see later.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of variety available to Pusan, and already we've seen how effectively he can use something like Corsair Reaver, which is a crazy hard strategy, especially when you're fighting a Zerg who is as good as Sziky undoubtedly is. And even when he seemed down and out in that game, he was able to claw his way back on one single mining base and still make a win out of it. So Sziky needs to be careful no matter what he sees, no matter what he scouts. His plan needs to be absolutely bang on in order to deal with what Pusan's going to be throwing at him. We have a hatchery going down and a much more standard timing. A 12 hatch finally happening for Sziky. Is this his first 12 hatch in this series, all on Fighting Spirit?
I'm pretty sure it might have been. Yeah, he's been going for mostly pool. Yeah, he's gone for pool first in every other game. Interesting.
Yeah.
But he
this puts Sziky very slightly ahead, maybe.
Very slightly ahead. I mean, Pusan didn't even throw down a cannon before throwing another.
Oh,
Nexus,
true.
So
yeah, so it's pretty even.
It's a wash.
Yeah, I mean, even if there is any difference, it is so incredibly marginal. And Pusan is able to make the gateway second instead of making it cannon second, so that gets his tech well underway. At a very nice timing for him, able to make the gas in just second as well. So he's going to be feeling fairly safe, as are both players, going on into the mid game here. Sziky making ready to throw down his third base. So this game, I feel, definitely justified in going for a standard play. He gets full scout off on the Protoss as natural, but nothing to go crying home about. He's going to see the gateway on the way up. Have a little bit of a crack at Mr. Pylon, but it's going to progress into the mid game pretty much without event here. A fast expand from both of these guys.
Yeah, Sziky actually got the first hit off with the drone. So he will win the engagement if Pusan isn't careful here. Only one more hit on the probe. Now 2 more hits. All right.
Will you get it? Pusan's being careful. He does not want this to happen, but will it go down? Sziky do the moving shot micro. Okay, he's not going to be able to get that probe. The probe makes it away intact. First zealot halfway out. The cannon almost up at this point now as well. And only 2 lings from Sziky. I think that is a very sensible decision. He wouldn't want to be busting his cash on a whole load of lings at this point.
Yeah, I've really been surprised that Sziky has, despite this being his first game with the 12 hatch, has in nearly every game not built a lot of early lings. And I feel that Pusan has been going for a lot of builds that are rather punishable. If Sziky had gone 9 pool and then made 6 lings and just attacked. I mean, Fighting Spirit doesn't exactly lend itself to that, being a 4-player map and the bases are kind of far away, but I think that if Sziky had been a little bit more aggressive, specifically in the last game, where he went for one of his very Sziky-esque things of going for pool first, yet only making 2 lings, and it really cost him in that game.
Yeah, it really did. I think that Pusan will be banking quite heavily on somewhat of a lack of aggression from Sziky, and yeah, so far it's paid off. I mean, his assessment of the situation has been absolutely accurate. He can take liberties and he can take risks without getting punished by a Zerg on this particular map. And I think in that sense he's prepared very well for a big game on Fighting Spirit. And all credit to him for doing that. I mean, you can't take it away from him for trying to exploit the playstyle that he expects to be coming out of his opponent right here. Now producing some more lings, so he's ready to deal with the Zealots, should they choose to move out. Looking if he's got the Link Speed upgrade coming on. He does okay, Link Speed just kicked in. So these Zealots can be of no risk to him so far, and he's making up the spy for standard timing, whilst meanwhile Pusan doing very, very similar stuff, making up the first Corsair at this point, and the Citadel on the way in too. So no kind of fancy Corsair Reaver stuff, which so almost cost him the game previously. He's going to be playing this one straight up.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah, that Pusan is, for the first time, not going for anything unstandard at all. I guess throwing down the Temple Archives before speed is a little bit out of the ordinary, but still, the most standard we've seen Pusan play. Sziky wanted to go for a run by with his Lings, but was just a second too late, and the Zealot was able to make the completely tight wall. Means that Sziky still just going to hang out with the Lings there, see when anything comes out. And I'm really interested to see how exactly Pusan's going to develop this. He's once again getting +1 weapons for his Corsairs. And also getting a very early cannon that's kind of defending his main mineral line. A little.
Kind of. I mean, the Mutas could easily just pop in around the back. But I guess he's happy that he can defend with Corsairs, hold positioned over the Nexus, which then are covered by the cannons, which should be able to look after themselves fairly decently. First couple of Corsairs now having a bit of a crack at that Overlord, which Sziky will have been expecting to lose. Yeah, he's still slightly supply blocked there, a little bit surprised about that. Now making up an extra Overlord in his natural, and the Scourge out at a decent timing, so they're going to be able to scare off those Corsairs right now. And yeah, Pusan going incredibly standard right now. I mean, he's got his first High Templar out happening right now, so he gets that big bunch of storm built up in it. So it's going to be a little while before we see any action here, unless it comes from Ziky's end. We have Hydralisk speed almost done, so once again standard stuff from him. He's still not going crazy, not doing anything wild, and he's just going standard. He really must think he can take this.
Well, yeah, unless it's an early Ling bust / run by, Sziky is not a fan of doing anything terribly out of the ordinary. Just because pretty much everybody he has to play, standard is his highest win chance. It just if he plays something weird, it's more likely that something goes wrong and he's going to lose. But in a long game, it tends to be what he needs. Pusan used his 2 first High Templar to get an Archon, which is quite surprising. It means that Pusan's probably going to go for an attack, a rather early attack. Otherwise, you would keep him as High Templar, because High Templar are a lot more valuable against the Hydralisks a little bit later on in the game.
Yeah. I mean, the Zealot Archon timing push is a classic push. Right. This looks to be significantly later than the classic example that we often see from it. However, it will still be strong. The Archon can make a big difference in busting through stationary defenses or a standing army. So yeah, Sziky though is able to scout. He gets in there with a Ling and just sniffs out the ground a little bit. So you will see the Archon. You will see the number of Zealots as well. So once again, will he be prepared against this? Will he be prepared against what he knows is coming?
Yeah. There are a lot of timings that are going to line up. +1 air weapons going to finish just a little bit before +1 at ground weapons, finishing at around the same time as speed. +1 ground weapons is going to lag a little bit behind the other things, but Pusan's now moving out with his starting force. There are a good number of Hydralisks, and Hydralisks should be pretty effective. Speed is done, so it's going to be very hard for Sziky to micro, but with a little bit of micro, he shouldn't have too much of a problem.
Corsairs coming in. Going to take a lot of Scourge hits. A few Scourge do land, not quite taking out as many Corsairs as I imagine they might. But either way, this Archon is probably going to go down because it is not too speedy compared to the nippy Zerg units, and he's probably going to be able to snipe that out with just the remainder of the Lings right here. And he pushes the army all the way back across the map. I'm surprised that Pusan is staying out on the map with this army at all, but I guess that's just the balls you get when you're an ex-pro gamer and hugely high ranking on Fish. You know what your limits are. Threatening to get a lot of Corsair snipes there. The Hydralisks do get a lot of shots on the Corsairs. Might be able to snipe out one, not targeting brilliantly well, but he might be able to get a couple more right here as he turns away those Corsairs quite smartly. But a decent diversionary tactic from Pusan just to keep the army at bay for the time being.
Pusan almost losing that first Archon, and that would have been absolutely huge, because there's really nothing he can push once he loses that. And now it's brought down to only 5 shields at one point, so he really can't do too much with it. And Sziky with a whole mess of Hydralisks. Is Pusan going to be able to defend the Hydralisk bust? He does not have any High Templar, it looks like. Just a whole mess of Zealots.
Yeah, he does have a lot of zealots. Getting a few sniped off right away there, sending them in bit by bit to get killed steadily is not the way forward for this. And Ziky's going to try and burst. I don't know if it's going to be alright, but he does manage to snipe out that High Templar. Unfortunate High Templar timing, popping out there right there for pusan. I think Ziky should be pulling back right now. He needs to be a little bit more careful and take out the army stage by stage. And the army from Pusan coming in from the back now as well. Does Ziky have the power to get rid of this? He takes care of the Archon. Does he have the Hydralist numbers? So many zealots coming in, but they reach that critical mass and they will all start dying. Are these Hydras enough? It looks like it's not quite enough from Ziky, possibly losing a little bit too much health unnecessarily to the cannons right there when he could have sniped off that army and then gone in for the killer blow. Nonetheless, he does take care of Pusan's army, managing to snipe out a High Templar in the process, and will be able to remake quite quickly. Another decent number of Hydras coming out from his natural too, and he's able to macro effectively off how many hatcheries you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hatcheries. Okay, so going old school.
Yep, and Pusan, Pusan has 3 Templar now. 2 of them have energy after that one cast of Storm, so he is fine. Probably the worst Storm we've seen Pusan do all this game, but the other 2 were quite successful.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, his storming is spot on every time.
Yeah, and we got lurkers on the way for Ziky. Pusan has even started the robo. I don't. Yep.
I don't see one.
Yeah, it's in with the gateways. It just started.
Oh, cheeky stuff. Okay, so he doesn't start it until he sees the lurkers. So a little bit of a mistiming there, but nothing to be completely unexpected. Oh, will the lurker get sniped off? No, it does not quite get sniped off. Those 2 lurkers burrowing down, tail end, managing to grab a few extra hits on that Archon, and Ziky right now having to pull all the way back into his natural. His army not looking that big for defensive purposes, but as he collects it, it should be adequate. Might be able to get a decent enough flank off right here on Pusan's army. But Pusan sensibly pulls back. He might still be able to get a good surround, so Pusan's army in a very disadvantageous position right now, trying to snipe out a couple of lurkers, but he's going to take quite a lot of hits to his zealots and losing a few of his units there, and is forced to pull back. Actually managing to maintain a good amount of health, but decent bit of army positioning right there from Ziky. Just he has to keep this level of pace up. He has to keep this pace up though, and he has to maintain this level of play. Otherwise, Pusan's aggression will get the better of him, and he needs a 4th base up quite quickly. It looks like he's preparing for one in the bottom right-hand corner, which should be happening as soon as 300 minerals hits the bank. Might be able to get a good surround off on what is remaining of Pusan's army now as well, and a decent enough lurker contain too. It's still a little while before observers are going to be out, so that lurker contain is going to make life a little bit difficult. At the very least, there are going to be no more High Templar out on the map for the foreseeable future, and if he can clean up this army whilst it is still roving around, then that's going to be a big win for him. Pusan looks like he's threatening to take a little bit of a hidden base in the bottom left-hand corner, but Ziky having none of it, coming in with his main force in order to deal with that.
Managing to take out the gateway out in the front of the wall, and as you said, Ziky now coming up and just trying to take out the army. I think Pusan's retreating the army back here just because it's the least likely position to get flanked, but it's inevitable that it's eventually going to go down, especially with no observer tech. So
yeah, those lurkers are important right now because they are peace of mind for Ziky, so he can focus all he likes on getting rid of this force in the knowledge that he's not going to receive a terrible, terrible backstab blow. And yeah, he's able to take out that army relatively handily, but leaves the probe alive. I don't know if he's actually seen that probe. And he'd do well to scout it. I think he does know that it's in there. Okay, so he will find it just as Pusan breaks out of the contain. So ideal timing for Ziky, possibly, if he can get back in time to defend. This is a big, big push coming out from Pusan. 124 supply right now, but Ziky doing very, very well on 100 supply, and that is decent enough for a Zerg player. This is a good push, but it's pretty much a one-time thing for Pusan. He's looking a little bit low on minerals, so he needs to get a 3rd base up. And losing this push would be pretty disadvantageous for him, but he's going all the way to Ziky's natural very, very quickly here, running the risk of getting flanked though. So we'll see how smart our Zerg player is going to be about this.
Yeah, there are a lot of units now behind Pusan. These Corsairs are actually going to see the tail end. That's a good number of Hydralists. He should be a little bit scared of that, does not want to be flanked. And now coming back to try to defend this 3rd base going up. Where is the observer with this army? Yes, there's an observer with this army. So, but they might be able to snipe that Templar if they focus it down. Nope, not paying attention. So the lurkers will be taken out. And now Ziky coming in for an attack. Storm going down. Oh, hitting so many of those lurkers. Great storms. Just doing so much damage here.
Yeah, damn, Ziky incredibly careless with his lurkers right there. If he just spread them out, it wouldn't have been
going in
he's going for the burst at the natural. So many Hydras coming in. I think it's going to be enough though. Pusan with a good number of cannons in order to defend this. I think Ziky's been a little bit over impetuous, and he's taken down a lot of the cannons. He's going to try and run up the ramp. Maybe sniping out future goons, but wow, he just lost the bulk of his force in a very, very ill-advised attack. Going into the 3rd base as well, however, he might just be able to snipe that down before the cannons come in. Okay, the cannons are cancelled out. Will the army from Pusan be back in time? Still a few Hydras remaining, blocking the ramp with lurker eggs. But that's a pretty short-lived kind of thing. I mean, they're going to go down quite quickly to Storm, but nonetheless, Pusan is forced to pull. And will the third Nexus go down? It looks like it will just survive. Very, very snipeable at this point, though, on so little health. And sziky going to continue to follow up. Will he be able to get a decent position? He will finally get a decent position. These High Templar are probably going to go down without Storm in them at this point. But nonetheless, those are some pretty clumped up lurkers. One Storm could make very, very light work of all these right now. However, Pusan is forced to pull back, and sziky should be able to dart in there and take care of that Nexus while the opportunity is still open to him. And Pusan's economy just a little bit softened up as a result.
Yep, sziky's actually done good damage with these lurkers, managing to catch a probe transfer, or at least the first half of it, and killing off a lot of the probes. Pusan's running out of money, and after losing that Nexus, it's going to be so long before he can get that up. Pusan's economy is in real jeopardy here. Just looking at how close he is to mined out. I don't know if he has enough time to get up another Nexus. He'd have to clear out the lurkers and GG.
Wow, great stuff right there from sziky. Seizing every opportunity and doing some beautiful multitasking play, just attacking here, attacking there, keeping Pusan's army down, and in an incredible display there, taking another game off the ex-pro gamer. And I think I speak for everybody when I say this is impressive. And once again, to all who said that sziky could not take games, think again. He's looking seriously good.
Yep. Great multitasking from sziky to be executing the Hydra into lurker run by that was going on in Pusan's main, at the same time doing constant multi-pronged attacks on Pusan's main force outside of the third.
Yeah. Ah, Steven, how did he know the password?
I'm gonna change it up a little bit faster. That's fine.
I don't even know how. You must have just guessed that. Wow, I'm impressed. Dedication right there.
Alright, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's go.
I'm feeling kind of butterflies about this game. I really, really want sziky to take it. Like, you have no idea how much. I mean, maybe you do, maybe you want it equally, but yeah, wow, I'm incredibly stoked for this. sziky looked so good in that last game. And can he follow it up with another equally awesome performance right here, taking a straight up game off this guy? Very, very impressive. So in the bottom left hand corner, spawning in as a yellow Zerg, we have powerful sziky. In the bottom right hand corner, spawning in as the teal Protoss, we have Pusan.
Yep. I don't know. Sziky just got a lot of really good engagements in that. Pusan was a little bit too aggressive at a lot of different points in that game, and while he did have good micro, constantly getting out of there, constantly with good storms, it's just, if he had played that a little bit safer and went and spent a little bit more time getting that third down, I think he would have been in a great position, because he really did have a very big army. And it was just a matter of sziky's constant attacks in all directions that really whittled him down. And Pusan allowed that to happen by being so far away from his base. We'll see. Well, Pusan's been very aggressive in all of these games, so I don't think it's going to change now, but I'd be interested to see how he would play a more passive style. Yeah,
I would as well. I mean, okay, so sziky going for... Okay, I thought he was going to go for gas, maybe it is just a gas trick. So he's going for a much earlier spawning pool than we saw last game. Not quite sure what's prompted this after last game worked out so well, but maybe once again imagining that Pusan's probably going to be a little bit taking liberties again with the expansion, which is a decent enough call, and he wants to be able to catch that if it does happen. Because as we said last game, a lot of Pusan's play so far has been predicated on sziky being just a little bit conservative and playing to the map in that regard. So maybe he'll be able to take advantage of this opening with some kind of ling run by perhaps.
I certainly hope so. He has 6 lings on the way, and the forge is not done. So if cannons go up, it's going to be very tight.
Yeah.
Pusan hasn't even scouted it yet, so if he throws down the Nexus, no. Pusan's gonna play it safe. The cannon is a little bit far forward though, not quite back like if it was here. So the Zerglings might be able to get a surround on it.
Yeah, I think they may well do. I mean, they're coming out now. The probe does scout them out, so Pusan's going to definitely be making another cannon. He does make another cannon, but will sziky, he'll definitely get in before the second cannon comes up. The first cannon, it's going to be tight. I mean, it should just be up in time because these lings, of course, are still slow lings, but nonetheless, a run by could be on the cards. Pusan pulling probes right now, and will they be there in time? I think they will just be there in time. sziky's still going for the run by, and I think it's going to be largely unsuccessful. Pusan doing an incredible job at blocking with probes. That is some really good micro from Pusan right there, and that is something that I have never seen happen to sziky before. Never ever.
Never. sziky is a master at avoiding that kind of stuff, but Pusan trapping sziky's lings with probes, and only a single ling manages to run by where maybe 5 could have otherwise. This ling's not going to be able to do much damage. It does get scouting information, but scouting information isn't quite what you want if you go for a 9 pool.
Yeah, for all that expansion timing and the 250, no, the 100 or a couple of hundred minerals that those lings actually cost him, that's really not good enough, and this puts sziky at a little bit of a disadvantaged position. I mean, granted, Pusan did expand quite late because he had to make up, I think he made the gateway before he made his nexus, and had a cannon on the way too, but he did manage to cancel that out, so not too much of a bad effect from that. But yeah, that was really mind-blowing probe micro right there from Pusan.
And sziky is going to try to go for some kind of damage. He is, this time, focusing more on the probes rather than on the buildings as he has done in the past. But no kills yet. And, ooh, sziky's making more links? How many more links is he making? Okay, just 4. Got a little bit worried there that sziky was going to go for some kind of weird all-in bust, but it was just happened to be before they were coming out. Going to try to stop this zealot from coming in.
And they're probably going to do so. I mean, the ling's going to get in front of it, and nice surround is possible right here, so sziky's going to be able to see the zealot off. The sziky, I'm getting all zzikied up here. The zealot might be able to make it all the way home, but it is stopping to fight in the middle of the map. I think he knows that it's not going to be getting back unless it gets pretty lucky right here. So Pusan's going to try and pull that all the way back. A second zealot now coming out. It's going to try and support that first zealot, and that might actually mean that this first zealot gets all the way home, which is going to be pretty nice for our Protoss player right here. Will it go down doing the micro? Good micro once again from Pusan. I'm kind of constantly impressed by this, and the zealot does escape, and it's going to make it all the way back here somehow. Yep.
But because he sent those 2 zealots out, he still has nothing to deal with that single zergling in the base. It now has seen the Stargate go down.
Yeah.
Waiting for the next piece of tech whenever it comes up. Pusan now throwing down the cannon, so that is going to severely hamper sziky's ability to do much. I don't think that that's really a reaction to the ling, though. He needed to get up pretty soon anyway for Mutalisks.
Yeah.
Not quite.
I mean, it's kind of an early cannon nonetheless, but that cannon's mainly going to be covering his Stargate so that Scourge can't camp over that. And it's going to do its job decently enough, and not too much of an extra cost to pass Pusan at this point. He's got a Robo coming in at the natural now as well, so once again going for the Reaver-based play. And prepared to see more ghostly micro, guys, because we have already seen that Pusan is more than capable of pulling this kind of thing off. And yeah, sziky reacted pretty nicely to it last game. Did a good job of taking down third bases and keeping Pusan small, but Pusan was able to battle through in the end, so sziky's going to be extra careful this time around.
Yep. sziky with a sizable number of lings out the front. It's not going to be enough to bust, though. He would do well to just hold back. We can see the robotic facility warping in. Excuse me, sziky did not scout it, though.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how this has happened either. I mean, the Spire seems quite late compared to that first Corsair. I mean, I guess it's quite normal, but it just seems a little bit delayed. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe just the effect of the... maybe just the effect of the delayed base, the delayed natural expansion.
Yeah.
Ooh, a couple of Overlords actually looking like they might get taken down. I mean, sziky not quite supply block, so he's able to get a couple of Scourge out, but Corsair up at the kind of just up at the top right hand corner of the map, having another crack at a different Overlord, but nonetheless, sziky is able to save them. And the Corsair is going to be flying all the way back home. And this gives sziky a decent enough little bit of a timing window to scout this. I mean, if he goes all the way into the main of Pusan's defended this quite well. I mean, he's protected it with cannons, protected his tech with cannons, but nonetheless, sziky does fly into the natural and sees the Robo, so now he's going to be able to begin his preparations.
I don't know. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, he's in the natural now. and he has seen the Robo. I don't know how he's going to react to it, though. I mean, other than getting Burrow, I don't think he's going to change up too much. Ooh, well, he's actually getting air armor right now. So,
wow, okay.
That's going to help out a lot against those Corsairs that did a lot of damage to him earlier. But the question is it just for Scourge, or is he also planning to use Mutalisks? Zealots moving out for Pusan? No. I thought Sziky might be able to engage there. One of those Zealots was very injured, but instead, just going back off. It does cost him a couple lings, though, before he realizes.
Not a hugely big deal, though. And I would imagine Sziky's probably going to go for much the same thing he did previously. Although, having said that, yeah, the air armor indicates otherwise, because of course that means that your stuff can survive that little bit longer against the heavy Corsair fire. And here it is. We have the Mutalisks on the way, and now Mutalisks in all guises can do pretty nicely against Sarah Reaver, especially kind of a mass Mutalisk strategy can often work pretty nicely too in conjunction with plenty of Scourge. So we'll see how this goes for Sziky and see exactly what he plans to do with this. There's a good number of Corsairs out right now, so those Scourge are going to be ineffective for the time being at least. He's going to set a couple of them patrolling, I think, just to make sure he knows if any shuttles are on the way over and he can catch those accordingly. But yeah, the harassment is ready to go from Pusan. Just having a look at his shuttle speed upgrade, it might be actually done already.
Oh, yeah,
it possibly be done?
He started that
Okay, it's done already. That's unusual to see that both the Reaver and the shuttle are up before the upgrade is done, but I guess he timed it just perfectly to make sure that happened. And now he's getting ready to move out for a little bit of harass. And as long as he micros this correctly, he's not in too much danger of losing that Reaver just yet. But those Mutalisks looking pretty scary in count. The armor is not in yet, however, so this is a decent enough window for Pusan. He might actually lose the shuttle right here, though. The Scourge coming in, landing a lot of Scourge on the Corsairs. He needs to spread his Mutalisks a lot better, but the Reaver is down. Will he run his drones in time? He will run the drones in time. All the Corsairs have gone down, save one, and so many of the Mutas are on incredibly low health, so this was a very, very close engagement right here. And Sziky just manages to get the advantage. One big Scarab does land. Will he be able to get the shuttle, though? He might be able to catch it up. The Reaver is dropped down. Oh my god, this is going to be huge. Sziky! No, no, no. Why would you run to the main? Why would you not run to the third? And the harass does end up paying for itself. Wow.
That is a textbook example of how you do Reaver, how you Reaver harass. You want to be attacking the probe line perpendicular to the way it moves, and Pusan dropped it right at the right angle. And now Sziky, he needs to do amazing amounts of damage with these Mutalisks, because if he can't, he can't come back from losing so many drones. He needs to do a lot more damage than just taking out the Archon. He needs to start getting massive probe kills, but just look, there are lots of cannons in the main. They're not so much in the natural, though.
DT drop in the main. DT drop in the main. And not a single Overlord to deal with this. He's running back right now. Will he see it in time? Okay, so the DT has one hack at the lair, and it is going to be revealed to Sziky, and he does run his probes away. He has so few probes in there anyway that it doesn't actually make a huge difference. He only runs them away such a small distance. He is distracted halfway through by the incoming harass at his third base instead, and manages to take care of that DT before he does too much damage. He might lose his Spire, though, in the process, which is a little bit of an error from him, but he should be able to get back in time and deal with that single DT, which is just gently hacking away at his Spire. And Sziky looking quite thin in terms of defensive capabilities. I mean, a lot of his Mutas have been on quite low health for some time, and that's a lot of Corsairs looking like they're making ready for an attack right here. And much as I'm rooting for Sziky, he's going to have to pull out something pretty special after that huge Scarab hit. Finally replenishing a decent number of drones right here and sending them back to mine.
Yep, +1 just finishing on the Zealots, speed just finishing on the Zealots, and Sziky does have a lot of Mutalisks to fight them, but the Corsairs are going to make it very difficult, not to mention there's even a Reaver to help out with the Zealots. And the Reaver's going to help out a lot against all of these sunken colonies that Sziky is betting this game on, betting this series on, in fact, because if he loses this, it is all over for him. But here come the Zealots to attack the third, the most populated base of Sziky. It's the only one that hasn't been harassed yet.
Natural expansion as well. The Reaver drops down and Sziky doesn't see it. This is great multitasking from Pusan right here. He's able to keep his eye on both positions at the same time. He just attack moves his Zealots in. But meanwhile, whilst Sziky thinks he's doing well, the Natural has been absolutely ransacked and this stands to lose so many drones again. Oh no! Massive Scarab landing on these drones and another Scarab. Oh god damn it, Sziky, why are you losing so much stuff? All of his drones go down in the main. So many drones from the Natural as well. This is devastating for our Zerg player, and Pusan's third gets up unhindered, which is pretty much unheard of when there are so many Mutalisks out on the field, but nonetheless the Reaver pays for itself twofold, and the Zealots able to do so as well, as Sziky's economy once again is set back so far here.
19 drone kills. That Reaver did not miss a single shot, I don't think. And it's really a testament to a player who knows what he's doing. Sziky's going to catch this probe transfer. Certainly not going to pick up 19, though. And this base, too many cannons. I don't think Sziky... No, Sziky's going to go in. Sziky... Oh, I don't like this decision by Sziky. Even if he is able to take out all the cannons, he's going to have so few Mutalisks left over afterwards. And that was the only thing he had left in this game. More Zealots attacking the third. There are a couple of Slipping Colonies up. I don't think it's enough, though, especially with that Archon. And Sziky is just falling apart now.
Yeah, I mean, pusan just showing incredible superiority in this game. All business, no messing around. He wanted to get this one. Sziky now pulling back with a skeleton force of Mutas, flying into range of that Archon, but fortunately for him, the Archon having very little health left to speak of. Oh, and the last of the Mutas going down. Sziky will be seriously regretting his decision to go in and try and bust those cannons, but I don't know if it would have mattered either way. He might just be able to hold this third base. But more Zealots coming in might be able to finish the job. He does have a decent amount of colonies in defense, but no mobile army whatsoever, and he's drastically behind in supply now. Pusan with pretty much double his supply, but nonetheless, despite the extra links that he hatched, his third base is still going to go down. He finally has a decent number of drones out now, but it doesn't matter. He was so incredibly delayed by those drone losses earlier on, and Pusan with constant aggression right now, macroing incredibly, microing incredibly, and looking dominant.
Yep. Again, without that Spire, he can't even make Scourge to try to cut down on these Corsair numbers. The Corsairs are just going to be able to attack anything that they want. Pusan got his early third base up and is completely safe, and he is just going to continue to rally in units until Sziky inevitably yields. And GG from Sziky.
Right.
Ouch.
Okay, so Sziky GG's out of the game and goes down 4-2, but I am going to put myself on the line here and say that I am incredibly impressed with that today. 4-2 against Pusan, 1,800 points on the fish ladder, ex-pro gamer. That is something to be incredibly impressed with, and we should all be very, very proud of him right now.
Yep. Other than that last game, all 5 games were very close and could have gone either way at multiple points. Very high-level play from these two players, and a great series overall.
Yeah, I really can't complain about the quality of the games at any single point here. Sziky fought valiantly, but Pusan was in the end just too strong, and showing why he is a force to be feared. And yeah, very impressive games from both of these guys. Pusan takes it down 4-2.
Alright, well, thank you to Heyon and Defi for organizing / sponsoring these series of show matches. They also did the one Sziky versus a Terran earlier. I have inklings that there will be another one in the future, but I don't know time. I don't know the time or the player for that one, so just keep your eyes out. Thank you to you, Elliot.
No,
certainly
thank
made
you
this cast
to you
better.
as well. I try.
Thank you to all the viewers who clearly your very vocal prayers have saved my computer because it did not crash. As for stuff I'm casting, I will be casting ISL 19 CET. I am casting Sziky again versus Busy. Not quite as good as Pusan is, so Sziky probably gonna do better. And I will.
Isn't it versus not Busy, surely?
Oh, excuse me, Vivian.
Vivian, that's the one.
It's not fair. It's not fair having 2 Canadian Terrans both starting with B. It's not fair. Alright, it's Bibian. So, yeah, you will also be casting ISL about 21 CET Saturday, and that is the PvP Dodie versus Semi.
Gonna be seriously good.
Yep. But we not only do we have those series, what might even turn out to be better games is the round robin. Spread across those 2 days, we have Technics, we have Snitzel, we have Michael, we have Project. Fabulous players, all 4 of them, all playing each other. And you will cast 3 on Saturday, I will cast 3 on Sunday, and then any possible tiebreakers, which, let's be honest, it's pretty probable that there will be at least some tiebreakers. It's going to be good stuff. Look forward to that on the
Be
weekend.
very good. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for watching. We have plenty of viewers in here today, and we saw some seriously good stuff. I have been Elegant AOV, and my friend here has been Hacklebeast, and it's been a pleasure bringing you another show match, and I hope to see many more of these. And once again, a day to be proud of Foreigner Power in some very exciting matches.
Thank you all indeed. Signing off.